Again, there is time on the clock, but the Cowboys had their chances late, just couldn't get it back with the possession to go, and they lose it by that final 34-24. Prescott goes for 463, 2 touchdowns, but he did have 3 interceptions. That did not help the situation for the Cowboys as they fall to 3-2. After the game, Ed Werder caught up with 2 of the defensive stars of this game.
Zadarius, can you explain?
Come on.
You two guys have come in here and made a real difference in Green Bay's ability to pressure the quarterback. How essential was that aspect of the game to doing what you did to Dak Prescott today?
Well, we had to make up from last week. We watched film, we corrected our mistakes, and the only thing we had to do was stop the run, and then we had some fun on third down. So to be able to do that, man, the team came together, man, and we did our assignment. We did a great job at it.
Yeah, we did a great job executing today. We put emphasis on stopping the run. We were playing against the Zeke. And we knew we had to go out there, man, and be a beast up front, and we had to cause havoc on the quarterback so they wouldn't have no good game.
Exactly.
You also had created 3 turnovers. Yeah. That seemed to be a big part of your success on defense coming off a game where you had no sacks and no turnovers.
Yeah, man, we just came in and we emphasized getting the ball.
Yeah.
That's what we talk about, man. Any ball that's thrown to us in our direction, man, we got to get it, man. If you get an opportunity to get an interception, you got to make a game-changer play to help the team out.
And what about your ability to take Elliott out of the game?
Like I said, man, we watched that film from last week after what we didn't do right, and the only thing we had to do was set our edges and hold our gaps.
We did assignment football,
exactly.
man.
And
Hold our gaps. We did that tonight.
We did a great job.
He didn't have a good night, did he?
He did it.
Sad night.
Preston and Zadarius, thanks very much for joining us.
Appreciate
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All right, nice effort there from the defense in Green Bay, but we got to go back to Aaron Jones for a second. We mentioned those 4 touchdowns, so that matches the Packers' franchise record with 4 rushing scores. The first Green Bay player to do it since Dorsey Levens 20 years ago. Jones, as we mentioned, also the first player to ever rush for 4 scores in a game against the Dallas Cowboys. All right, so fantasy owners are going to say, yeah, Aaron Jones did everything here, Tim, but collectively running the football is a team effort. How was Green Bay able to be so effective against Dallas?
Well, it's a team effort. They're pushing guys around up front. I mean, that's how he was able to have so much success. You take a look at this run here. It's an inside zone run, and so the way they're going to block it is this. Now, because Aaron Jones will end up pushing the hole before he winds it back, that sets up the block for Billy Turner on Jalen Smith right there. Because he pressed the hole here, that gets Smith to come this way, and there goes Turner, where he's able to come up here, which creates that lane for Aaron Jones to be able to wind it back. And there was a lot of this going on. Another good example here now, it's inside zone again. This time it's a tremendous job of the center, Lindsley, of getting a reach block there, which is going to keep Jalen Smith, playing his position backside. But because of the good reach block, he's able to create a crease there for Aaron Jones. And then also, Jimmy Graham doesn't get a whole lot of love for blocking, but he's basically throwing Heath out the club right there, pushing him down the field. Then you get down into, one of his later touchdowns. Valdez Scantling is going to come down and crack on this safety. He's going to block him. Well, if you're basically in a crack replace situation if you're Jones, the safety. He basically has contained now because of the block on the safety. And then this is it's a good job of the receiver, as you see him just washing him down. But now this is just speed to the perimeter by Aaron Jones. And so it was a team effort. As you see him wave as he goes into the end zone. Hey, listen, it was fun then. He'll get fined this week for it. However, it was a really, really good job of the guys up front. And then I think other people involved in it, receivers involved in it, Jimmy Graham, the tight end, involved in it. And usually when a running back goes off, it's all hands on deck.
No question about it. You never hear this from the other 31 teams, but we'll hear from Jerry in just a moment. So hang tight for that. It's just the way it is. On the other side, Coach, it's the Cowboys' second loss in 7 days. Well, plenty to talk about them, but it was the Packers' defense. He just emphasized some of the stuff on the Packers, though, but you saw some stuff defensively from Matt LaFleur's team today you wanted to point out.
Yeah, I think this offseason, the Packers personnel department did a great job in going and creating speed on the edge. And I thought that was really evident in the game tonight, as far as Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And you can see this here. This is Preston Smith coming around the edge. All right, with a little help from his friends. And then over here now, Zadarius All right, Preston again coming up, but both guys, you see the penetration up the field, and that makes a quarterback very uncomfortable. You see the speed, and that's what they tried to accomplish this offseason in getting speed on that defense, and it's really helped the Green Bay Packers.
One thing I wanted to quickly mention after the loss to the Saints last week on Sunday Night Football, Jerry was a little critical of offensive coordinator Kellen Moore during the week. They've dropped their second straight game now. Their offense came to life in the second half, but they nothing going in the first half. How concerned are you there? Two good teams.
Well, and in terms of, Kellen Moore being the offensive coordinator, look, it's probably one of those things where there was an overreaction with their early success, thinking like, hey, we have Boy Wonder as our offensive coordinator, and things will, naturally, especially with how well, Dak was playing, come back down to earth just a little bit. He's a first-year play caller. There'll be games where he's great, and there'll be games that he's not. And really what will determine kind of what type of play caller he is for this year and going forward will be how he responds and grows from the games where he maybe wishes he called things differently.
Yeah, and eventually, though, teams do scout, and they sort of find some things that coordinators doing too, right?
Look, and in fairness, Dak's first interception, Kellen Moore has called a play that's gotten Amari Cooper wide open, and he just doesn't catch the football, and it gets picked off by J.R. Alexander.
Right.
So, there's going to be times like that, too.
And let's not forget the last 2 weeks they've had 3 giveaways in each game against the Saints and today. So that's not the formula to winning football in the National Football League, and that's what they have to get squared away.
Jerry Jones live at the podium here on SportsCenter. As advertised, the boys fall for the second straight game.
Or a compliment to their quarterback.
Well, let's start by complimenting the quarterback, and he didn't disappoint as far as what he is to compete against. But with him out there, it was a daunting task to dig as big a hole as we did with him quarterbacking, and frankly, them playing as solid as they were playing, we dug such a hole there early. I thought, though, that as a Cowboy fan, I particularly was impressed with how they competed individually. I thought of Woozy's hit that he came up and made was inspirational, that he made it there in the fourth quarter. Those are kinds of things that really are encouraging about individual competitiveness with our team. We've got mistakes that we made early and throughout that everybody's aware of, and I'm not being trite about them. But you can't get behind a team like that, those numbers, where we were, and really not expect to be disappointing. Our team didn't understand that, though, and that's the best thing for me tonight. Our team didn't understand right at the end of that game in the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes that they couldn't win this game. And that you can build from. We got great talent here. We got some things that we can do better, but we've got a spirit that really is encouraging.
Jerry, after 2 straight losses to 2 good teams, how much of this is go back to the drawing board, and how much of this is stay the course?
Well, I think it's the NFL, and you know that they pay their guys too. And so you're going to be up against, before you're through, you're going to be up against handfuls of well-coached teams. You're going to be up against talented teams. You can't turn that ball over and give them the ball, and you can't not stop the run. Just fundamental things right there. And I don't care how much skill you got or how much spirit you've got or competitiveness you got, you can't do those things and win football games. And we all know the turnover thing alone really puts you behind 8.
What did you make of the unsportsmanlike conduct flag on Jason Garrett?
What?
The unsportsmanlike conduct flag. What did you make of that?
Well, I think the same guy didn't bother me with much as that as he did not calling that interference call on our receiver across the middle. To me, that's his call, too. So I don't know what in the world to make of all that.
Jerry, how's Lyle Collins?
I think he's fine. That's a MCL. But he didn't think, just he didn't think. I didn't talk to any of the trainers or doctors. But he didn't think it was going to be an ongoing problem for him.
Does the way this game
was not his back.
Jerry, does the way this game started, the first 3 quarters, is that some form of a reality check for where this team is at? Do you want every guy to kind of look back at it like that?
Well, I just know that you can get behind when you're playing these teams that you play in the NFL. You get behind that much, and you've really diminished your chances of coming out on top. On the other hand, it shows you that you can get ahead by that much, and you don't have it made at all. You can have some things go. I had hoped that the turnovers might start coming our way. They didn't. You say, well, isn't that a little bit of dreaming and praying? Yes, it is. But it does happen. It has to.
So when's the last time you heard an owner, not a head coach, give an injury update? He just gave an injury update during the press conference.
He's also president and general manager, Zubin.
He can probably do whatever he wants. There's no question about it. How about them Cowboys? Last 2 games, nothing doing. You better believe Jason Garrett's going to get some questions from Jerry Jones. Here's Jason getting some questions from the media.
But, the 2 turnovers really hurt us.
They gassed you in the running game some, especially. Did that kind of keep you on your heels defensively?
Yeah, that was the biggest issue on defense. Is they were able to run the ball. They ran the ball inside on us when they got down in the red zone a couple times, which is really uncharacteristic of our defense. That's the thing we do as well as anything. So, to the gap discipline and just physically getting off of blocks and making plays across the board wasn't consistent enough, particularly early on in the game. I thought it got better as the game went on, but they ran the ball too easily against us.
Did they do anything you weren't expecting from film?
Not really. Not really.
What happened on the replay challenge where you were flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct?
Yeah, obviously on that play, and we had a great view of it, and they called it an incompletion. So it was such a big play in the game. You have to use your flag there. We had already challenged a potential pass interference earlier. So in that situation, you're going to have to use the flag to get the call correct. You're not going to have that for later in the game. So obviously, I didn't handle that situation as well as I should have. I knew we were going to get the play because I saw it, and unfortunately, we had to use the flag there. And he made that decision to throw a flag on me.
Jason, 2 first-place teams, 2 losses. What does this say about your club and where they are right now?
Yeah, not really in the business of that. Just really in the business of getting back to work and trying to get better. Our goal every week is to get better each and every day and practice and get better from week to week. And we'll continue to strive to do that. 2 challenging games. Didn't get it done in either of them the last couple of weeks. We'll learn from the experience and hopefully grow, get stronger, and get better as we go.
Do you feel some of your frustration
from the side judge as to why he threw that flag on you? Did you get an explanation from the side judge as to why he threw that flag?
Yeah, that was the play where we had the big completion, and we had to correct it by me throwing a flag, and then he didn't like how I threw the flag.
Do you agree that your emotion there merited an unsportsmanlike?
That's not my decision.
Did you think it was the spiking of the flag or something you said?
I really don't know.
Did you feel there was a sense of frustration from not getting the call on the Brown interference that kind of seeped into how you reacted on that play as well?
Oh, again, it was just a big play in the game. I knew we had used the flag once, and I knew we were going to have to use it again to correct their error. And when you do that, and the first one doesn't get overturned, you're out of challenges. And so I knew that was the situation. But we had to use it in that particular situation to correct the mistake that they made. And so didn't handle it well. Our team handled it really well, though. I don't know if you saw the rest of the game after that. We completed a 26-yarder on the next play and went right down and scored. So our team did a really good job handling that adversity.
Did you think it was a poorly officiated game?
It's not my place to share my opinion about that.
Jason, should Cam Fleming have had a little more help at all during the game? Because there are times where he was getting beat in one-on-ones.
Yeah, we'll go back and look at the tape. It looked like at first glance that Cam did a good job fighting and battling. They got a good front. Certainly, you try to help them different ways with the protections you call and all of that. But I think for the most part, he stood in there and blocked fairly well, both in the run game and the pass game.
How pivotal was that play on the first drive to Amari? Do you think that changes the tenor of the game, even if it's that first drive?
The turnover?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously turnovers are critical in the game. You only have so many possessions, and you got to make sure you maximize them. And it was such a makeable play. It was a really good throw. Amari ran a good route and won, and just uncharacteristically, the ball came out, and they were able to make a play. But you have to put it behind you, and you have to go to the next play.
How do you unpack a game like this where It was competitive at the end. You kept fighting, but I mean, you were down by 24 and really didn't give yourself much of a chance to get back into this.
Yeah, I think the basic analysis is I thought we fought hard. The spirit of the team is unbelievable. The closeness of the team is really strong. You have to play winning football. You can't turn the ball over 3 times, and we have to do a better job defending the run. And if we do a better job in those areas, we give ourselves a much better chance to win this game. So, we'll go back tomorrow and look at the tape and break it down play by play, player by player, what we did, what we didn't do, all of that. But at first glance, it comes down to those things. Turn the ball over, -3 in the turnover ratio. You're not going to win a lot of games. Go back the last 100 years in the NFL and look at that statistic. And then obviously not stopping the run as well as we needed to.
Is it surprising to see Dak make those mistakes in a game where he could make a lot of plays, as you said, a lot of open receivers?
Yeah, the first one was a throw and catch and came out from Amari, so I would not necessarily put that on him, not that we're in the interest of placing blame here. The other one, at first glance, looked like he was a little aggressive, forcing it in there. And then on the third one, I don't know if you saw the play, but the receiver was contacted the whole time and was pulled down, and there was an interference on it. And again, that goes back to the ability to use that flag late in the game. Rather than having to correct a call, you don't have that flag in your pocket anymore. So those things are going to happen in a game like that. So certainly a little bit disappointing that way.
Jason, are you frustrated?